So how do we bridge the gap between the highest and lowest in terms of intellectual sophistication with regards to the implications of symbolism, right? We're interested in it in terms of,
Yeah.
we're interested in philosophy and psychology, but how do you grok this with folks that, are not interested in this intellectual sense, maybe haven't graduated high school, but it will make an impact on them?
Yeah, you obviously don't explain it. I always say that explaining symbolism is a last ditch resort. Like it's not a good, we're not in a good place when you have to explain symbolism. It's actually a bad sign. And so for people who are maybe not the most intellectual types, symbolism is actually easier for them. It's because it's intuitively grasped. They don't have this intellect which is fighting inside them to take up all the space. And so the way that it has to be, but we need the kind of intellectual types as well, because they're the ones, they will always be the ones running the show, you would say, or in terms of directing culture and creating the waves in culture. And so the way to do it is through stories through embodied experiences, rituals, celebrations. The liturgical year is the ultimate example of that, but encouraging celebration, encouraging feasts, all of this stuff was the way. And you can see it like in the Middle Ages. I think it was something like people had something like it was a crazy amount of days, like 130 days off or something during the year, because they were constantly celebrating this saint, celebrating this thing. They're always celebrating. And so that's the way you do it. And that's the way people are doing it now. That's why Hollywood is using the storytelling to influence culture. That's why that's why they're using video games to influence culture. All of the places of storytelling, and then also the place of celebration that say, what are we allowed to celebrate today? You can understand. If you understand what the world is, you can see what we're allowed to celebrate and what we're not so allowed to celebrate, or that it's suspicious that if you celebrate that. And so that's the way to do it. So what we don't just need people who understand symbolism. And if you follow what I'm doing, you'll see that sometimes it looks chaotic, because I'm just like I have the multi-pronged things going out. But ultimately, there's this idea that we need people who understand symbolism, but we need people who are producing symbolism as well. We need people who are writing stories, and we also need our clergy. We need the people that are in authority, in terms of religious authority, to understand the importance of what they're doing, and to understand the deep impact of the acts that we're posing and the celebrations that we're involved in.